finish up right here with our last topic. So Jaywan has no longer with the podcast, the Joe Budden podcast.
We don't feel a difference. You were on 2 episodes.
He was doing mostly Patreon. It was funny though because he was talking to us.
They subscribe to Patreon, nigga.
It was funny though because he was talking to us about it, and he was like, "Oh, we already had this idea. It was going to be a 3-month contract or whatever." Felt like a little bit less than 3 months because he wasn't on the show the December much. Like I think it was maybe a couple episodes of Patreon that he did, but. It's funny that seeing them let go because Joe this morning on the show that released said that they didn't lose anybody. They looking to add additions, and it's just kind of funny to see where in the grand scheme it's like, oh, maybe that's where he didn't view Jaywan as maybe as valuable as people may have perceived. Mm-hmm. Because it was funny when he was talking to us about it. He was basically trying to say like, hey, this is what it was about. He was trying to figure out, if this is something he want to do, and Joe potentially may get a show for him in the future. But nothing sounds like that with how things are being responded. For the fact Joe was on Spaces, didn't even know Jaywan wasn't coming back. Like, so he wasn't really even aware that he was wrapping up with the contract. Also, the fact he tried to act like, oh, this isn't nothing new. But the fact the contract was so short doesn't seem like anything we've seen from Joe in the past. Joe is at least going to do a year or 2 contract with you if he sees the value. And then the fact that he's not fighting to keep you to stay on the show, it just goes to show where they didn't see this as a valuable engagement. I don't think they got what they really wanted from it. And I think it's
with Jaywan.
Yeah. I mean, and partly due, I don't think he has the verbiage to resonate what he's trying to say. And when it comes out, instead of him sounding like a fresh voice or a fresh idea, he sounds like the dude. Remember, like back when we was coming, I was the guys trying to bring back the 90s. Especially New York niggas had that like for a while, where there was always some guys trying to bring back the 90s and the 80s. So you didn't have that? When I was out here in Georgia, the niggas that was moved down here from New York was always trying to relive the 90s and the 80s, trying to do kid and play shit. Like that's what I get from when I listen to him.
They was from Harlem.
I don't know who it was. I didn't care to ask.
I'm kidding. But like it's mad corny old niggas. That's
not my point with him. My point is with him.
It's people from every state that try to relive.
To me, instead of feeling
heydays.
like a modern young nigga, he feels like he's trying to be a copy of what young niggas was 3 decades ago. And that's where, to me, it doesn't feel like it resonates on what Joe would have wanted from that young artist or that young podcaster. Because that's what we always say. The thing that he's doing with the guests coming in and out and changing out was stuff that we've been talking about in Spaces a long time ago. And we've even said he needs to have a younger voice. But I just don't think Jaywan being that younger voice fits, because
it doesn't.
If you listen to him on Spaces too, like he doesn't necessarily
can't
argue his point. He doesn't argue his point good.
He can't hold his own at all. Also, you know who I enjoy? Mark?
Yeah, Mark Lamont Hill.
Yes. Mark Lamont Hill is a very good addition to that show because he's smarter than all them niggas except...
No, he's smarter than everybody in the room.
He's communicated.
So do we feel like Jaywan was a missing part of the show that is going to be needed in the future? Do you think Joe is going to be upset that he let him go?
I only watched that one episode that Jaywan was on, which is like the first episode. That's the only one that I consumed with him on. From that episode, I was really excited to have him be a continuous part of the show because he would agree with some of the old nigga takes, but then he would kind of like fight back. I want there to be. It wouldn't have worked with Jaywan, but I want there to be someone young who can fully, like, actually argue with, like, Ish. Because I feel like Ish has the most, like, solid old nigga views out of everybody. Would you agree with that? Ish is the light-skinned one, right? Mm-hmm. I was confusing them for a while. I feel like the light-skinned one should be Ice. But, I feel like Ish has the most like old hood nigga views. He gives me kind of like Maul vibes, like off the strength, off the like.
It's funny that you say Maul because I think with Jaywan, that was what a lot of people said they reminded him of was Maul, but it was like all of Maul's bad qualities, like trying to be too cool, identifying with like bad politics.
Yeah.
in regards to like how people conduct themselves or in regards to different responses and things of that nature. So I think to me with him, like I said, he's just young. He doesn't have the ability at this point to explain his points in a way that is conducive and makes sense. Like he doesn't really land on it. It sounds very empty and immature. And I think that's just what was getting exposed. Where it's like, you got to be able to, when you up there with them, you got to be able to stand on your own, and you can't have instances like flips going off on you and Joe taking it out. Hold on,
do you
let me
think?
finish. Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
You can't have instances where Flip is taking shots at you and Joe's taking it out because, oh, well, I don't want my man's son to come out. If we being honest, this what it looks like. This was Joe using Jaywan to massage other relationships. Yeah, I'll put a little money in your pocket. You know, your dad will be happy. He'll see you doing, something positive. And now, boom. But I think that was the main thing what Joe's intentions was to do that. Was I'm trying to create goodwill outside of other things that have almost little to do with Jaywan, and his success is neither here nor there. It's a byproduct of what I'm really trying to do. If it is, cool. If it isn't, I don't need it. So. Mm-hmm. But we'll see how he continues on with it, what he goes on with his career. I highly doubt Joe's going to bring him back on for a show unless he's able to like curate some type of either someone with a big buzz, or he himself maybe goes on like a social media rant and, he was able to garner some type of real like popularity from that. Because again, even from him, like this is my first time even being made familiar with him. And apparently he's been rapping for a few years now. So we'll see if he's able to turn it on, for himself. But
I don't like New York rappers that be trying to rap like old New York niggas. Like,
yeah, he gives me a lot of King Combs with a lot of the shit that he does.
Let it go.
Like he's trying to take his dad's heyday and extend
I'm tired of that little dance that Kim Combs be doing.
He just trying to be his daddy.
Like, we're
That's
tired
all these
of it.
niggas
We tired. We're tired. And it's corny and it makes us cringe, and you need to fucking stop. You need to develop your own identity. And if you don't, fine. Just be a fucking Nepo baby. Like,